Hey guys, welcome to the channel. It's Navid, and we're going to do an oud string change on this. Who made this? What's his name? Remis Aktash in Izmir. I'm going to do a string change on this oud. As you can see, there's a lot of oxidization on this D string here. And get a new set of strings. I've already cleaned the fingerboard on this guy, but it still needs to get the strings changed. Gonna get that going and do a little oud talk. So if you have some time, stay and chill out, ask me some questions. I love hearing from you. Let's get on with it. So first, let me tell you, I'll wait till some people show up and then. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to get all the strings off here. That's the important thing. Especially if you're changing your oud strings for the first time, you'll want to probably start fresh, like completely fresh. Get the strings off. It's a very cold, windy day today here in Japan. We get beautiful winters here. Absolutely beautiful winters. Sun shining all the time. At least in my area. Central west part of Japan. They call it the Mediterranean of the East. They've done a fine job of tying the strings here to the pegs. Can't get them out. Use some pliers. Out. I don't expect many people to show up because I usually announce my YouTube lives. And it's already kind of late for people in the East Coast of the United States, where a lot of people are at. But it's not too late on the West Coast. Old stomping ground, the West Coast of North America. So if you do show up, say hello, even if you're watching the replay. Strings are really stuck in here. Nobody here yet. Hey Mateen, good to see you. Changing some oud strings here. What is it? This is the Feramis Aktash Oud with the very fancy Cocobolo wood. Sold a few of these in collaboration with Ethnic Musical. Very nice oud, really nice oud. It's got a very nice sound. You know, it's still a Turkish sound, but it's not. I mean, they're never quite exactly purely Turkish sound. This one I've had it for at least a year now, and it's worked in quite a bit. But needs new strings. I've cleaned the fingerboard on it now, and I put the old strings back on. It really needed a clean. It's this is the Arabic standard tuning. I'll always put on Arabic standard tuning strings, either FF or Fa or CC, just because I never have a need for playing Turkish tuning. If I ever do, I'll do it for that moment, but I'm really stuck on that range of frequency. Cool thing is when you have an FF tuning, you can tune the strings so low to get to a Turkish tuning. You could turn your high F chorus to a D. It's like 1.5 steps lower, and then you can tune the rest all that way, and you get a Turkish tuning with the high F chorus. So if you're ever wanting to experiment with that, it doesn't hurt your oud because you're just tuning the tension lower. C would be really low. The string tension will not be very good. D is as far as you could go. Take that high F string and then tune it down to a D. That's as low as I would go. I've done that a couple times. It works. So hey, if you're showing up, haven't said hi, tell me who you are. Love to hear from you. Ask me a question. Just gonna this. I never like to just cut off my strings from the oud. Some people do that because you never know when you're gonna need an extra oud string. So I keep them for a while. I throw them out eventually, like I do a purge. I keep a bunch of old strings, and then every once in a while, when I know I'm really not gonna do any experimentation or something, then I get rid of them. Some people just like go and cut. I don't know why people do that. Like it's like the oud is under a lot of tension, and then all of a sudden you go and like cut off that tension. Doesn't that affect the oud? it's not a guitar. Like it's not like built like a tank like a guitar is. So like, I don't know, I tend not to do that. I take it off slowly. I don't know if it makes a difference. Maybe wood is stronger than I think. Somebody educate me. Do I know of any Bandari luthiers? Yeah, I've seen a couple on Instagram. One on Qeshm Island, and another guy, I think he's in Bandar Abbas. I've seen at least 3. I just never remember their names. I'd have to like look them up on Instagram. But yeah, there sure are. And you know, they make really damn good ouds too. That's where people get their ouds from, in Iran. There's luthiers in the south for sure. You know, usually when I change my strings, I like take one string off at a time because I like to keep it in tune and do it slowly. But today I'm doing it a different way than I usually do. I'm taking off all the strings because I want to get it right at the peg box here. These strings are just a mess. I'm gonna have to organize them later. These old strings were Aurora brand, and I'd never bought them before, but they're really nice. I really like them, and I'm gonna try them sometime. But they're pretty expensive. Like, wipe this down a little bit. Hey Janine, thanks for joining. Thanks for saying hi. Colorado. And there's a bunch of oud players in Colorado. I've had 2 students in Colorado now. So yeah, the fingerboard's clean. I haven't used it much since I cleaned it. So now it's time to get the strings on. So yeah, let me show you what strings I got here. I've got a mix. So this is Savara's instrument, early period instruments. And this gauge is, what should I put on here? Lower gauge or higher gauge? Let's go a little higher gauge with this one, with this oud. Probably not going to keep it tuned standard pitch anyway. So I've got some PVF pyramid. This is going to be the C string. It's 0.59 millimeters diameter. Like a little bit on the high. And then this is the G. Also PVF, but it's Savara's. I'm going to mix them up a little bit. It's 0.74 millimeters, so this will be a little bit on the heavier gauge. And then I've got my standard labella bass. This is the D course, 0.25. I think that's inches. And then 0.28 for the A course. That's again in inches. And then 33s for the F course, because these ouds are a little shorter, 58.5 centimeters, and then 43 for the C string. Yeah, let me measure this. I haven't measured this in a while to see how long this is. It's got 20 centimeter neck from the nut to the neck joint. And then from the neck joint here, say the top of the, it's a 13. Seems a bit shorter than I remember, but maybe I just didn't calculate properly here. 30 here, just going to do approximation. 30, yeah, okay, yeah, 58.5, 58.5, of course it is. No, all the strings that I get are always from either the United States or from Europe. Of course, Pyramid is made in Germany, but I get them shipped from the States. And then, yeah, there's a lot of strings you could get from China for sure. But I don't go for that usually because I've heard they're pretty bad quality. Hope it doesn't get too dark here. Okay, so I'm gonna think about how I do this first because I don't wanna make it difficult for myself. I think I'm gonna go like from C to C and go in the middle just so that I can get a nice clean setup. Yeah, that's how I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna put the low course on first, and I'm gonna do the same setup I usually do, the same Turkish pegs, you know. Do the C, G, D, A, F, and then C. I don't think there's any name differences for the configuration. Seems like Iranian players, Iranian oud makers tend to go in a linear fashion. So C, C, G, G, D, D, A, F, F, C, which makes complete sense. It also is, it's also easier to organize the, you know, the peg box too. But I'm just gonna keep it to the usual. So yeah, Janine, do you have any questions? Anyone else have any questions? If you're new to the oud, make sure that if you're ever changing your oud strings for the first time, that you give yourself some time. Give yourself like at least an hour and a half to get it done if you're doing it the first time, unless you've got experience with guitars and stuff. Alright, so what I do here is I get the string up and then just do a little eyeball measurement. I'd like go about here and cut off the string from here so that I've got enough on the to go around the peg. Low C string doesn't need a lot. Oh yeah, your oud is very old. That's cool. Antique ouds are cool. Yeah, totally. It'll take time. So one of the reasons why I put the C string on at first is so that I can get it in tune, and then it usually keeps its tension the best out of all the strings because it's such a low note. So I get it in tune, and then I can kind of use it as a reference point to tune the other strings. When they go flat, as I go, I just keep retuning. All right, so now I'm going to do the top C string. Let's get these out here. These are PVF, so they're super slippery. Yeah, that's pretty thick. Not too bad. It's the first time using these pyramid PVF, I think. Looking forward to trying them out. They're so slippery when you tune up. Like sometimes what I do is I burn the end here with my lighter. Just so that it makes a little ball, and then if it starts like slipping at the nut, then it gets stuck on the little ball that you made at the back there. And then for up at the peg, I make sure I do a little tie. I tie it up on the peg because otherwise these PVF strings, they're just so slippery. So look how much extra string I got here. So much. So it's gonna come, give this much. I saw your message, your question there, Martin. They've got a range of quality. Are you talking about strings or ouds in general? Feel free to ask anything. So I just do one loop like this. Probably can't see nothing. And then just make sure that squeezes the string in there so that it doesn't slip. I think I've got so much string on here still. A bit much. Oh yeah. I mean, some of them are not like, of course, all the student models. It depends on who you're talking to. Like, what's that person's expectation? It's all about what they expect, what they're used to, what the quality they're used to. Because if you compare their beginner ouds to ouds and like a wall hanger that you might buy in Egypt by accident, or if you compare their ouds to, okay, here's a company, an Egyptian oud company called Goldrick Al-Fan. Those ouds are absolute garbage. Most of them are. I think they do sometimes make some good ones sometimes, but if you compare those beginner ouds made in Egypt by Goldrick Al-Fan, which are sold, I see them sold on ArabInstruments.com. They're not crap. Like the beginner ouds from Salah, I would recommend way more, hands down. But Goldrick Al-Fan is absolute garbage. Tuner can't hear what this is. Just keep it there. Then I just go ahead and like try to tune each string up to pitch. Alright, let's see here. I got some new ebony tuning pegs for my oud, but they need to be cut and shaved and customized. Do I need to take to a luthier or can I do it? Do you know anyone near Vancouver for that? Of course I know someone near Vancouver for that. Any violin repair can do that. Well, actually the guy I know, he passed away, so never mind. There was a guy in Vancouver who I took my ouds to a lot, Gerard Shamia, and he passed away recently, unfortunately. He was an amazing guy, was affordable, and anyway, he's gone now. rest in peace. And any violin repair should be able to do it, as long as they are willing to do it. And if you can't get anywhere with violin repair, then take it to Nicole Alosanak, or there's another guy, I can't remember his name now. Okay, so that's going to keep going out of tune. Let's get the other one on. So it's great that you got new ebony pegs. Another important thing, actually, what's more important than ebony pegs, it can be any wood as long as they're carved nicely and fit the holes nicely. That's the most important thing. So with also what affects tuning ability is the nut. Like let's say you get let's say you have a favorite oud string that you like to buy all the time. Take those oud strings into the person who's going to do the job, and then have them shape the nut, the grooves in the nut, specifically for that string set, especially if you love that string set a lot. Or just get them to do a good proper check the nut to make sure that it's not gonna create unnecessary friction, because no matter what kind of pegs you have, if there's too much friction and then you get this clicking and you get the grooves of the string getting too much friction, and then you tune it, and then you get a click and you get a big jump, then no matter what pegs you have in there, that's just gonna ruin your day. It's gonna make tuning difficult. So that's important too. You're gonna take it in to get it done anyway. If you're handy, you could probably do it yourself if you know what you're doing. Yeah, sure, you could. I wouldn't trust myself to do it because I don't know what I'm doing. Maybe if I researched how to do it, I would, but I don't have that kind of time. But yeah, you could do it yourself if you have the proper tools. Well, you generally you don't tune the nut to the strings you use, because most people always use different oud strings. I mean, I've always experimented with different oud strings. So yeah, I sometimes get strings that don't work well for the nut. They're just not shaped. They're like too thick for the nut or something like that. The best way to go, the pro way to go, if you have a specific oud gauge that you use, oud string gauge, yeah, get the nut set up specifically for that oud set, then you're not going to have any problems tuning. But there's probably universal nut grooves can probably do the job for most oud strings. Anytime. Thanks for your question. Really good one. Good luck with it. I hope it goes well. Hope you enjoy the ebony pegs. All right, so this is the Savares for the G course, and this one is one long string. So I have to cut this one in half. It's 2 meters long. If I cut it in half, I should get 2 G course. Unfortunately, I'm not in Canada anymore. I haven't tried Palabiyik. I want to. Their ouds look really good. I have a friend who's on to becoming a professional. He's a professional. He bought one. He really likes it. So it's a bit weird. I have never done this before, where I've like intentionally used a different brand for one nylon and a different brand for another one. They're not nylon, PVC, sorry. So hopefully I get a good result. Like hopefully the tone of each string is more or less the same. If it's not, I might change it. In case this is slippery, I'm gonna just, what is it when you, what's the word, the term for when you do this to a string end? There must be like a technical term for this that I don't know. Khaliji polyrhythm. I wouldn't say I know any. Like I know some. You can play. You don't really need. Like I don't really know any very well, but like I have this app. It's called OND, Oud and Drum. I think it stands for Arabic Rhythms. It's an expensive app for the phone, for a smartphone, and I use it for. It's got like 300 rhythms. It's like it was like $60 app, most I've ever spent on an app before. And it's got all the Khaliji rhythms, and especially Saudi Peninsula rhythms and stuff. And there's a lot in there. They're all kind of in like 2/4 in 4/4. So what I really don't like about the traditional way of putting strings on pegs. Okay, right now this is the problem. I'm putting the G course on these two pegs. This is the traditional way to do it, right? So the way that, in order to get a nice straight action with the peg here, the string comes straight to the nut, where it's to the groove. I've got to put the string on this side of the peg. Now, I don't like to do that, because if I have too much string there and if it bunches up at the end, then I can't push the peg in. So by doing it linearly, the way that Iranian oud makers do it, you can always get the string wound toward the side of the peg. That way you can control it more easily, and you can push the peg in without getting messed up. Sorry, I was just getting a notification from the streaming software, something about my audio bit rate. I thought I fixed that. Oh, this is a good tension string. This one is good. I like the tension in this G. That's going to be nice. I'm looking forward to trying that. This one is, this G is 0.74 millimeter diameter. So it's on the it's on the higher range of tension for ouds. But the G course can always take a little bit more tension. The cool thing about PVF, which I'm really enjoying these days, is that you can get a thinner string at a higher tension. Nylon, you have to go thicker to get the same amount of tension out of the string. So they become kind of clunky and, you know, at a certain tension. So thinner strings are better for shorter length ouds, like these Turkish-made ones, because you'll just get a cleaner playability, cleaner sound. So that's what I recommend. These days, of course, it depends on the oud, right? Always depends on the oud that you use. But these days, I'm kind of like leaning toward using thinner gauge strings. Lighter tension. I don't like fat strings anymore. See how I feel like I'm decreasing the amount of time my strings are going to settle because I keep on tuning every time I got a string. Were there any before Mansur Nariman, or was he really the first to bring oud barbat back to Iranian music? No, I think the Kurds in Iran and the southern regions like Hormozgan and Bushehr province, I think people were playing oud the whole time in these regions. But if you want to say that Nariman brought the oud back into Persian music, it's classical Persian music. So the oud was always around. It just wasn't used in the classical. But the Kurds used it, pretty sure. Because they were bordering on Iraq, you know, they... And then in the South, they've always used it. That's their main instrument. Like if you go on Instagram, recently I've just found like so many young oud players from that region, from Hormozgan, Qeshm Island, and they're all singing and playing oud. Okay. Nice strong sound, but I am getting a little bit of a tonal difference between the two different brands. So I'm not sure if I'll like that. We'll have to see. Yeah, when it comes to the Persian classical music tradition, yeah, you could say Nariman was the first to really bring it back, and he brought it back in an official way, because we're talking about like the Tehran Conservatory of Music. They had, you know, every student in the conservatory had to choose their primary instrument and their secondary instrument. You couldn't choose oud as any of those because it wasn't in the curriculum. So Nariman brought it back into the curriculum. He became like the first teacher of it, and so they started grading students on it, and you could actually choose it as an official field of instrument of study. Before Nariman, it wasn't an official like academic study. It just wasn't in there. It was a folk instrument at any rate, even though they're all folk instruments. This whole thing about being a classical instrument comes from Western music. It's kind of foreign to the Middle East, that whole idea. But we started to copy, the whole conservatory style and organization of teaching music and all that, and so that kind of thing kind of stuck on. All right, D course now. So far I'm liking these strings quite a lot. But yeah, there might be a tonal difference between the C course because it's pyramid and then G course because it's Savares. We'll have to see how that turns out. Hopefully it won't be too bad and I'll just keep them on. So I bought some oud strings over the break and over the Christmas and New Year's, and so this is the new batch. I got 3 sets. I got 2 other sets sent to Canada because I was supposed to be in Canada now, but that didn't work out, didn't go to Canada, and so I only got 3 sets sent to Japan anyway. But these 2 sets are a mix of pyramid, Savares, and labella lute strings. They're all lute strings. Yeah, so before we're talking, if you're talking about before the modern period, before the Qajar dynasty, yeah, of course there were oud players like Meragi. What's his name? The guy who wrote the great book of music, Farabi. Oh, I still like D'Addario. I still like D'Addario. I just I don't use it. It's not my go-to. It's my default. If I have nothing else, I'll use D'Addario. But if I have a choice, if I can, I'll do something custom. And also because I have a bunch of these Turkish measurement, 58.5 centimeter, I tend to do something custom because I need a little bit more gauge than the D'Addarios have. Like how this string got on here. I have too much string. I'm gonna do it again. Move some of it over to the other side of the peg. I'm gonna shorten it a little bit. Take this much off. Yeah, I just found out actually that a store that I buy all my music equipment in Japan, they actually carry D'Addario Arabic oud strings, which is amazing because they're marked up way more in Japan than they are in the States and Canada. And I just discovered this. I just found them that they have that string set, that the Dario EJ95A, which is amazing for me because now I can get them for like under $20. That's just a good price. They're usually like 25, over $20 if I get them in Japan. Good. Okay. Next one. Yeah, it's really the best priced oud string set. That's why I recommend them to everyone, like at the beginning, especially because you don't have to think much, you know, what brand to buy. Just go for the Dario. You're safe. You're in good hands if you go for the Dario. But these days, I'm enjoying the PVF, especially for the treble. So that's why I haven't bought that. But if I'm like desperate for oud strings, I'll definitely get just to go for the Dario. I like the Dario way better than Labella oud strings. I don't know why. But Labella lute strings are a bit different. I like them. Yeah, the high F is not working for you. I have that set and that Labella set. Is it is your Sokar oud? Is it fixed bridge or is it floating bridge? That Labella set might work a bit better for floating bridges. It's higher tension. Fixed bridge. Yeah, it depends on the oud. You always have to experiment. How did you get your Sokar oud? What's the story? Did you get it ordered? Did you buy it from somewhere else, a reseller? I'm curious. Did you order it directly? Facebook Marketplace? Cool. Your main oud is Egyptian one from the old Gamil George's shop. Oh, wow. Cool. Of the ouds you've played, what's your favorite? Like, when did they close down? When did Gamil George close down their shop? That's too bad. Now, once you get a nice oud, Mateen, you know, your old oud will just not do the same for you. For sure. So the A course is going on now. This is crazy. I really like, this really bugs me about this way of doing, putting oud strings. Right now, like, okay, so I got the D string on. The D string is great. The hole in the peg is right in the center. The string is going right to the center. String is going right to the center. Now I've got to put on the A course, right? But, okay, A string's got to go here. The hole is now on the other side of the D string. So now I have to funnel this string underneath the D course to get to the A string, and then the notch on the nut is way over here. So you've got the string going on this side, and you've got the notch on this side. How does that make any sense? Somebody educate me. So now what I've got to do is I've got to funnel this string over here to get inside the hole, and then I've got to get the loops of the peg on the side that I don't want the string loops to go. If I do this linearly, then I've got no problem. It'll go nice and clean. One could argue I should have done the A course sooner, but then I would still have the same problem. I'd still have the D string going on top and crisscrossing potentially. But it's all good. I'll get this done. I got too much string on the peg, but that's okay. I don't care. Let's keep going. Snooey. Are you actively studying Persian, Mateen? Are you taking lessons or anything like that? I'd highly recommend doing. That's one of the regrets I have, was not learning more Persian when I was younger. Because now I could use it quite a lot. So now I'm still trying to learn Persian. I mean, I'm fluent, but I'm just not don't have the richest vocabulary. There's like certain things, like I was just looking up, like, how do you even say, the other day I was looking up, how do you say to protect something in Farsi? I was like, I've never had to use that in my whole life, that kind of a phrase. So I never learned that word. When you have time, when you're young, study languages. When you get older, you don't have time anymore. Yeah, I like the Ahmad. I like doing the opposite, because I can the bass string stays in tune the best out of all of them. So I use it as a reference for the other one. As I'm changing the strings, I just keep tuning the rest to my low C string. I used to do last as well. Doesn't matter, whatever way you like, do it. All right, the last one now. Oh, it depends on the string set, but usually like it takes a few days. Yeah, it depends on the strings and stuff. If I'm really lucky, then it's playable within a day or two. But like I just put a Aquila strings on one of my other ouds, and it's the G course is still not settled, like after a week. When oud strings are so tiny when new, but not on violin or guitar. Tinny? You mean tinny or tiny? I don't know. Like the sound? Sound is very bright. Yeah, yeah. They do on guitar too, no? Yeah, I don't know why on oud it's like that. I think oud players are more sensitive. Oud players are so sensitive to any buzz. It drives us crazy. Any buzz, any sharp sound, we're never happy, never satisfied with the way that our oud sounds. I know I'm not. There's some days where like just the oud doesn't sound good. And whatever you do, something in the air, the humidity, I don't know. I think oud players are like the pickiest people when it comes to sound, because that's just the way we are, I think. It's just the way we're wired. Now this is hilarious. So for some reason on this F string, okay, the hole for the string is really close to the wood of the peg box. So I have to cut the string shorter to fit the loops on the side of the peg that I want it to go. Otherwise I have to feed the loops on the other side, and then again I have the same problem where the loops are over here, the string is going to come across and then come to the opposite side for the nut. So like, what's the logic of this? Oh, this peg actually has has two holes. So there's another one on the other side. I'm complaining for no reason. Okay, it's time to tune up now. That's a good question. I would tune a lot in Vancouver. Hey, Johan. Ahmed, what's your story? Have you always lived in Vancouver? Where were you from before? Egypt, okay. $30 years. Okay. So now I'm going and adjusting the height of the strings at the bridge. You started playing oud in Canada. That's cool. No, I don't know much Azeri oud music. Yeah, not too much. I kind of always just felt they're more like tar or kamanche. Yeah, I haven't really spent a lot of time learning any Azeri music, unfortunately. There's just so much music once you start to explore. You know, once you go down the rabbit hole, you start to go into certain places. How did you start learning oud in Canada, Ahmed? Sarwan. Is he still teaching? Is he still... He must be getting up there in age now. Oh yeah. Nice guy, really great guy. Yeah, that's the same for Persian music. Like, there's a lot of good Persian songs, but you don't see many people doing renditions of them on oud. Yeah, I took one lesson with Sarwan because I wanted to understand more about the Arabic taqsim. Like I learned, I took one lesson with him, and like I learned enough in that lesson. Like from he was really generous with his knowledge and everything. I wanted to take more lessons with him, but I was studying at UBC at the time, and so I was like really far away from where he lived, so it didn't work out. I'm sure if I did take some more taqsim lessons with him, I'd be have learned much faster the Arabic style. Very nice. Yeah, for you, Matin, it's going to be easy to go to play saz. It's going to be pretty easy. I mean, in saz, it's just a matter of, working your way up and down the neck and choosing the tuning for the song you're playing. There's some advanced techniques, but skills-wise, like, there's no problem. You can, everything you know on oud, you can apply that to saz, for sure. Coming alive. You might be able to play Azeri Ashek style. I don't see why not. they're almost the same instrument. It's just a different shape. But the thing is that you'd be having to learn everything by ear, like and there's like no teachers probably for Azari Ashik style. So it'd be hard music to learn from getting exposed and to learn the style, but I'm sure you could do it. There's nothing stopping you. But I always recommend for the type of instrument, try to learn the music that's played on that instrument before trying to play something else, because you'll just be more satisfied. Like that was one of my biggest dilemmas challenges I faced when I started learning oud, was that I was completely learning oud from the perspective of a Iranian musically trained individual, and the instruments I knew were tar, sitar, santur. Those were the instruments that I had experience with, and they all matched the aesthetic of Persian music so nicely. And then when I really was getting deep into the oud with it, I realized that the oud has some challenges when playing Persian music, classical Persian music, and so you have to change things. You have to adapt the way you play. You can't play the oud the same way you'd play a tar, a setar, or a santur. You have slightly different nuances, which I found really challenging because I was already a santur player. I had played a little bit of setar too, and so I really wanted that feeling, that same feeling. I wanted to get exactly that from the oud. So that's why it led me to study Turkish music and Arabic music, because I just felt like I was missing something, and so I had to branch out into music that uses the oud primarily, or more heavily, more focused on oud. And then I started to realize, okay, I can take some of the things I'm learning from the way that the Arabs approach it, the way that the Turks approach it, and then I can then bring that into Persian music, and at least I can get the right balance of technique, But I was always trying so hard to sound like a setar, trying so hard to sound like a tar, trying so hard to sound like a santur, where that was impossible to do. So learning the language of that instrument and the music that instrument is most ideal for is probably the way to go. So if I were you, and I get a saz, I would look into just learning really just Anatolian folk style saz music. Don't try to play classical music on the saz. It won't be the same. You can, for sure you can. There's nothing stopping anyone from doing that. It's just that, at the beginning, to really appreciate the instrument, play the music that was made for that instrument. Hello, One Ros. On el Ros. I wish I knew how to pronounce that. Good to see you. So anyone who hasn't chimed in the chat, say hello, tell me if you have any questions, comments. Love to hear from you. Yeah, Ahmed, this oud already sounds pretty good. You're right. nice and buttery sound. When the first strings that I had on here buzzed like crazy. But this sounds really nice. I'm actually really impressed. I've got do, do. Do, fa, la, re, sol, do. All right, hello, Jenna, person from Portugal. Nice to have you here. Would I rather have one string sound bright or all of them sound bright? Both scenarios are kind of annoying. I'm getting a little bit of tonal difference between the C chorus and the G chorus right now, but it's not so bothersome. It's not that big of a difference. It's getting out of tune again. Okay, so far I'm really happy with these strings. They're like, this is crazy. Like, I'm actually impressed at how stable they are already. They sound really good. So all the bass strings were labella lute strings. I buy these as singles. So for the D chorus we have the 025. Following my work since Yahoo Groups. Nice. 028 for the La chorus, and then 33 for the Fa, and then 43 for the Do, the low Do. And then we've got 0.74 millimeter diameter PVC. You could do Savaras or pyramid for that. And then 0.59 millimeter diameter pyramid for the C. I would always recommend using the same brand, but like I really like the labella lute strings for the wounds. They sound great, they tune great, everything's great, fine. But I really like the same brand. They have them only nylon, I believe, for the trebles. So, but I prefer PVC, so that's why I mixed them up like this. Beautiful, nice and round. I don't have that one memorized, Samai Shad Araban. Why not? Let's see if I think I have it. Let's see here. I know I have that one here. The typical. Why not? Since you requested it, why not? Maybe I can find it here. Samai Shahnaz. No Shad Araban, I thought I had it. Samai Hijaz. Oh no, there. Come on. Is it Samai Shad Araban by Jamil Bey? I haven't played this one in a long time. beautiful piece. Yeah, nice. I should restudy this piece. I haven't played it in ages. Retune again. The fourth khana I don't even remember. Third khana I don't even remember. Let's see here. Just dropping in to say I bought my first oud last week. It was used on Facebook Marketplace. There's a crack I need fixed and I'll need to get new strings, but it's a start. That's great. That's awesome. Welcome to the oud world. And just keep up with it. Good luck, and yeah, get the crack fixed. It's your first oud, so don't expect too much. It might be a really nice oud. Tahmila Suznak is in Maqam Suznak. Suznak is actually a great maqam. I love it. Oh yeah, Aquila Super Niglot. Yeah, great strings. So this piece was in Shad Araban. It's like a mix between Hijaz Kar and Nahawand. And there's always a confusion when you get pieces from the Turkish tradition or Ottoman tradition that go into Arabic music, because we play our rast, like Turks kind of play their maqam rast the way that Arabs play their ajam, and Arabs play their rast a little bit different than the way that Turks play their rast in the intonation. Yeah, it's interesting, the whole rast and ajam thing. I haven't played it in a long time, but yeah, it looks like, yeah, like on this score here, he's got written natural or half flat for the E. So you could play it all natural, you could play it, or you could play it half flat like a rast. Here. But in reality, like the Turkish intonation is like between what Arabic natural and Arabic half flat is. So it is hard to know, like, is it, when you're interpreting it from the Arab perspective, like, is it ajam or is it a Turkish Ottoman rast? You know? Turkish rast. That's right. Yeah, Ahmed, you're absolutely right. They do change the intonation, but they still never play the rast, mi half nos bemol, as sharp as the Ottomans play it. This is how the Ottomans play it. The Arabs will play it. flatter, the mi nos bemol. Yeah, there's a lot of variation. And apparently it was different historically too. So there's so much, it's such a deep, amazing, rich music we have in intonation that because we're so fortunate to be oud players, we can enjoy all that intonation. Everybody else who's playing frets, they have to move the fret, they have to change the fret, they have to like buy this microtonal fret and install it on their guitars. But we can't play that many chords, that's okay. Oh yeah, the old audio by Jamil Bey would solve the issue. There's someone online debating that ajam is not the major scale. No, it's not. No. I would agree. It's not the major scale, but it's the most comparable thing we have. If we want to compare, yes, in some ways it is, but no, it's not. And then there's two ajam. There's the Ottoman ajam, and then there's the Arabic ajam. They're very different maqams too. The Ottoman ajam maqam does this. And then it does this. And ends there like bayat. And it has a very sharp mi nos bemol. But the Arabic ajam, for whatever reason, it's and then there's ajam ushayran. Which is on the B flat or C nos bemol. Yeah, ajam and mahur are, if you're just comparing the Arabic ajam and the Iranian mahur, they're virtually identical, but mahur has a whole bunch of other baggage that has to be played too. But it does have features of ajam. Sorry, the tuning. Right? Now, mahur has different gushe like shikaste and delkash. A lot of stories there, a lot of stories to tell. There's Delkash and there's Shekaste in Morgh Sahar. And I always mix them up. I can't remember. Delkash is the one that uses the E half flat, or I think Shekaste is the one that has the A half flat. It's the basically that. I think Delkash uses that. I sometimes forget and mix these two up. Well, thanks guys for joining me on this Oud Strings and Oud Chat. It was nice meeting some of you guys and talking to you guys. Really nice to have you guys here. I hope you guys have a great weekend. And yeah, thanks for hanging out with me. It was fun. I really enjoyed the questions and the comments and meeting you guys. We'll do this again. And yeah. I have to change strings for another oud, so maybe another day I'll do that. Or I might have to do it today. All right. Well, have a good one, and we'll talk to you guys later.